Thank you so much for joining me online. I'm Kevin Hurd and welcome to KevinTalksTech.com, my technology blog and podcast. It's all about making technology more simple, fun, and easy to understand. All right, let's get right into it. I want to talk to you today about the Galaxy Note 5. This video I'm very excited to make today because I'm a big fan of the Galaxy Note 5. This phone came out August 21st of 2015, which at the time of this taping was just a couple weeks ago. I bought the phone the day it came out. I was just so excited I couldn't wait for it. And I was going to make a video that day, but then I said, you know what, let's wait, give it a couple weeks, and then I'm going to come to you and give you my thoughts and my review. So that's what we're here to do today. Let me first start off though, before I get into any thoughts, just showing you how the phone arrives when you do get it. I bought this at Sam's Club. Comes in a box very similar to this. Actually will be pretty much like this. Inside you've got your charger. And then you've also got your USB micro cable right here. Now I was a little bit disappointed that Samsung didn't opt to go with what's called the USB-C technology in terms of a charging cable. It's a new standard that's coming out, going to work between laptops, mobile phones. You'll see more of it down the line. Was a little bit bummed they decided not to go that route, but USB micro will still work out great. These cords are easily accessible in most stores, so if you lose this one or you need to pick up a spare, that is really handy to consider as well. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the phone and talk a little bit about some of the things that I really like about this phone and some things I really don't, quite frankly, like. And by the way, there's not many. So let's first start off and just give you a quick look at it. Again, Galaxy Note 5, 5.7-inch screen. Just ignore this wording here on the back. That's part of the case. Kind of a mess up, I think, the case manufacturer made. 5.7-inch screen, which if you're familiar with the Galaxy Note 4, same size screen, that was also 5.7-inch as well. What I've noticed though is the Galaxy Note 5 does have more screen real estate, or maybe that's not the right word here, but the screen does extend all the way to the edges of the phone, unlike the Galaxy Note 4 where you do have a little bit more of an edge in between the screen and the actual edge of the phone, I guess you could say. Other similarities or other things that I really liked about this when comparing it to the Galaxy Note 4, 16 megapixel camera. That has got to be my favorite feature of the phone. Whoop, oh, I guess I just took a picture. 16 megapixel camera on the back side, 5 megapixel camera on the front. This thing has been absolutely phenomenal in terms of picture taking in daylight. Took some pictures at night in downtown Chicago. I want to show you a couple of those right now. This is just in your standard auto mode. Mind you, these pictures were taken while we were moving on a boat as well, and so you can see the detail that this captured. You don't see a lot of blurriness to this. They absolutely look fantastic. And so if you're looking for a great camera, I really think you're going to be very happy with the Galaxy Note 5. Now it is worth mentioning, if we look at the Galaxy Note 4 and Galaxy Note 5 side by side, the Note 4 also does have a 16 megapixel camera. I believe it's a 3 megapixel camera that's on the front of it. So not a whole lot of huge difference there. If you do have access to a Note 4, you know, that might still be something you want to think about. Either way, camera favorite feature though. Another favorite feature I like about this phone, very quick, fast processor in here. Moving between applications is very, very seamless. And really for me, that's what I like about phones. I like a phone with a lot of power in it, and I can tell that the Galaxy Note 5 has a lot of power to it. Switching between applications, running multiple applications at the same time, works out really, really well too. This has 4 gigabytes of RAM inside of it. By comparison, the Note 4 has 3 gigabytes of RAM, so it's still a pretty decent amount. When we're talking about RAM, we're talking about the ability to run applications simultaneously at the same time. Random access memory, as it's called. So we're not talking about storage space here. We're talking about that ability to run applications at the same time and keep that experience smooth. So that's what I like. A lot of RAM, nice processor. Let's go ahead and also talk a little bit about some of the other things that I like about this too. Wireless charging. This has been a really, really nice addition that they've added to this phones and other smartphones out on the market today. This is a wireless charger that I bought off of Amazon. It's from UTech. UTech charger. This was actually only about $11, which is great. Comes with a little cord that you plug in. We're talking about a USB-C micro cord. Give you a closer look. And all what you'll do is you'll go ahead and plug this into an AC adapter with a USB connection on the end, or you could plug it into a computer, any other source for power, And then all you have to do is just basically place the phone on top like this, and the phone starts charging. I'm thinking about getting a few of these just to keep around the house, so that way if I'm in the kitchen, the living room, the bedroom, I could just set my phone down and it's always charging. Hey, speaking of battery life, let's talk about that too, because that's one other thing that I've really enjoyed about this phone. I actually have two different thoughts though on the battery with this. So thought number one, the battery works, I would say, very, very well when compared to the old phone that I had, the Galaxy S4. You're going to notice great battery life in this. I would say from the time that I wake up in the morning to the time that I go to bed at night, I probably have about 35 to 40% of my battery left, which is fantastic. And that's with pretty heavy use throughout the day. So I can always pretty much get through a whole day on one charge with this phone, which is really great. That was not the case with the S4 that I had before. Now, the battery is great, but one thing that I want to talk about that I really don't like about this phone, and hasn't been an issue because again the battery life is great, is the battery is not removable in this phone. You'll remember with the Galaxy Note 4, a lot of other Android-based smartphones as well, you can pop the back off of the phone, pull the battery out, put in a new one if the battery runs out. Can't do that in this one. The battery is inside, it doesn't come out. So you're going to need a backup charger with you or just need to haul around an extra cable. That hasn't been a big deal, as I said, because battery life in this thing, for me at least, has been very good. Another thing I don't like about this phone, I shouldn't say I don't like, but one thing that kind of peeves me a little bit is the fact that it doesn't come with external memory. And by that I mean I can't insert a memory card into the phone to expand the memory. I bought the 32 gigabyte model. There's a 32 gigabyte and a 64 gigabyte. 32 was all that was available when I bought this phone on the day that it came out, so that had to suffice. However, storage for me has been great so far. I have probably gotten about halfway in terms of my memory at this point. As time goes on, I'm sure I'll probably look to more cloud solutions to store some of my content. By cloud solutions, I mean uploading pictures to Google Photos, Dropbox, maybe uploading my videos there, basically not storing the files directly on my phone. And that might just have to be an option for you too if you do opt to go with this phone. The expandable memory is nice. I have heard people tell me though that by getting rid of the expandable memory, you're able to access things a lot faster because it doesn't need to read that card and then redisplay the information. Everything is just internal, so things move a little bit quickly. So that's one thing that I've really liked. If you're down with numbers here, 3000 mAh battery is what this particular phone is running right now. It does shoot 4K video too. That's one other thing I should mention. You can shoot in regular high definition or you can shoot 4K video, which is also a very nice option as well. Now, one thing I want to mention too with this phone, if you're thinking between getting an iPhone or an Android-based phone like the Galaxy Note 5. One thing that's really nice about this is coming this fall, we have Samsung Pay, which is coming out, very similar to Apple Pay, uses what's called NFC technology or near field communication. And what that basically does is it allows the phone to communicate with other NFC devices, such as a credit card reader that you'd find inside a store. And so the phone basically, it's kind of almost like a Wi-Fi technology. That's a great way to think about it. It's a very small area of Wi-Fi that's put out from the phone. The phone connects wirelessly or very close range with the other NFC device. They can pair together or talk to each other, which is how credit cards are read through NFC. That's how Apple Pay works. That's how Samsung Pay is going to work as well. And so if you're thinking maybe you want to get an iPhone solely just because of Apple Pay, consider the fact that Samsung Pay is also an option that does come out this fall as well. So I want to make sure that I've covered everything in here. I think if I had to summarize this phone for you in terms of features, wireless charging has been great. I love that feature. The camera I am absolutely in love with. As I mentioned before, great video, great picture quality. Something that I've really enjoyed. Size-wise, it's great too. Guys, girls, I'm sure you're thinking about this. Am I going to be able to fit this thing in my pocket? I've had no problems with that. It's worked out great in terms of getting it in the pocket. And I'm not quite sure, I haven't checked the specs on this totally, but I'm getting the impression that the iPhone 6 Plus is actually slightly wider than the Galaxy Note 5. I can't confirm that right now. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I get the sense when I hold the 6 Plus is just a little bit wider. And so this is nice because yes, you're still getting that 5.7 inch screen, but it does fit a little bit easier into your pocket. So that's one thing that's been very nice. I mentioned speed as well. Speed is one thing that I really like. This phone is quick, it moves fast. That's also another important aspect for me. One last thing I want to show you is the S Pen, which is available on this phone. They have this on the Note 4 as well. Basically, this is just a little pen stylus that's stored inside the bottom of the phone. Just take it out like this. As soon as you take it out, a screen prompt comes up, and there's some text on here. I don't know if you can see that, but it says basically, write memo on screen. And so as soon as you take that pen out, the sensor knows that it's out. It pulls up this memo so I can quickly jot something down. So I'll just write Kevin Talks Tech in very poor handwriting. And then yeah, you just pop the pen right back in the phone and you've got easy access to all those memos. Phone just shuts right off again. So something you don't even have to turn the phone on for. Great phone, as I mentioned. I've talked a lot about the features in this phone, talked a lot about some of the accessories. If you missed any of that, just go to kevintalkstech.com. I've put up more details on my blog about the features on this phone, as well as some links. If you're interested in buying it, I've got some links up there as well. And if you're confused about carriers, because there has been a lot of changes to pricing structures with Verizon, T-Mobile a couple years ago changed their pricing structure. AT&T's had some shakeups. I've got more information on my website too about how these pricing structures work if you're thinking about getting a phone like this. Thank you so much for joining me online. Again, I'm Kevin Hurd. This is the Kevin Talks Tech blog and podcast. We'll look forward to seeing you again next time.